Well, unless you say something stupid.
Yeah.
If you say something stupid and you don't want me to put it in, I'm happy to cut it out.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Just wanted. All good.
Yeah, keep it. Yeah, no, nothing. Like it's just whatever, whatever you want to chat about. But
I should have had a good listen to a few before I came, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of time afterwards.
That's it.
We'll learn by doing. Learn on site.
That's it.
But thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Where were you this morning?
Cooley.
Is that your? Is that your go-to?
No, when the wind's southwest like it was, it was good. So I woke up, saw the nice clear sky. So I thought,
So you're an early riser.
That's it. Not always, but I have been lately. Be getting up pretty early.
Yeah. So you're sort of before the light, sort of figure out what the day's going to be, or do you? Because I've often thought about that with someone like yourself, who's that's professional. That's what the professionals do. Professionals out here, the budding professionals. What your day sort of starts like how you navigate what you're going to do, and like when it comes to weather, when it comes to like all the different scenarios. How does that work?
Well, depending, obviously if there's a good swell coming, I've got that in my mind, so I'm looking at that, looking at winds, so I've got a bit of an idea. But this morning, I wasn't looking at what the winds were doing, so I just sort of woke up and went, the light just looks real clear for a change, and after that storm yesterday, I could just tell it was nice, and then quickly checked my app and saw a southwest and went, that's it, let's go. So got my little boy up and we took off down to Cooley.
Are they into it as well? Are they your boys?
Yeah, got both my boys are right into it now, and all their mates. So I got trips all the time with their friends coming and everything. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I see you have a little crew that takes off, and
I think they've called themselves the what do they call themselves? The Rusty Crew, I think they're calling themselves now. Yeah, they got their own little Instagram thing there, so they all turn up together, and pretty epic watching them.
How good!
So
and
excited.
You're the tutor.
Yeah, I'm trying to show them, trying to help them out as much as I can. But
geez, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
That's it. Just camping is like 7 boys. 7 of us all together, including myself. And it's pretty interesting because it's they're only between 11 and 14, so they're pretty young. Yeah. So they're used to having their mums with them a bit more. I'm like, I'm not cleaning up your shit. I'm not going to wash up this. You guys look after yourself here. And
that's probably a good thing too for them growing up, wouldn't it be? Like they're learning a passion for something, if they carry on for whatever, but they're learning a passion too, but they're also learning, to be a man, isn't it? To get out there and do their own shit and sort themselves out.
Yeah, and that's that was sort of some good feedback I got last time. Some of the mums were like, I'm not sure what they're doing out there. I'm not sure if Sean's having little chats with these boys or not, but they've come back and they're like better than they've ever been. That's kind of good to hear that, and sort of inspires me to just keep showing the younger guys what to do. But my little boys also have sold a few things in my gallery now, and that's been interesting because at Christmas time we had these little mat boards which I sell a lot of, and I had their names on a few. And they sold a few, and $30-$40 each, and they ended up selling 4 or 5 of them. But my wife wanted them to do a little job around the house, give $5 to go weed around the pool, and they're like, nah, I'm going to go sell a print, Dad.
Oh, did you not know I'm actually a photographer now?
Yeah, that's it. So
there's no talk about leaving school.
Nah, that's
leaving
it.
school to be a photographer.
Yeah.
So how did you start out then? So what was your were you always passionate about this, or is this like from a young age?
I think I've always just liked to show people stuff. I think it's pretty common with everybody. That's why Instagram's so strong. Everyone wants to show people things. But I've always wanted to do that. But I started a career as an electrician, linesman. So I worked for Energex for 10 years, climbing power poles. And while I was doing that, I got a camera and played around the side and started doing beachfront markets, and just grew the hobby from that into a full-time job. Yeah.
How long ago did you sort of make that transition from...
Yeah, it would be probably 18 years ago now when I started. 14 years ago when I actually quit my job, because I remember my son was born pretty much right when I quit Energex. So I had 4 years of building up, selling my photos at markets and opening a little gallery. So I had my very first gallery. I opened that up, had my first daughter, and also renovated the house at once while I was still working full time, so that was pretty hectic. But so after then it sort of just kept going. I got to have a year's leave without pay when my boy was born, and never looked back.
Just said, no, I'm not coming home.
That's coming back. That's it. Just gonna hit
That's
the
pretty
road.
cool though, because lots of people I think that this just starts. They think that you just become someone out of nothing, and you start making a living out of nothing. But it actually is that grind where you've got a hobby, where you're still working every day and trying to figure out that backbone. And
yeah, no, definitely. It's it's my passion. So I think that's what's helped me, because I love it. So I've never thought from the start I'm just going to be a photographer. It was just something I loved, and people started really enjoying it. So I always had my full-time job there, which is supporting me and my family, and I was just able to slowly work out how to make that passion into some income as well. So it worked well.
I think that gives you an appreciation too once you can drop that job.
Yeah,
and do what you do for a living. You're able to sort of appreciate it a little bit more because you know that it can all get taken away and you can.
That's it. Yeah, and I still dream now. Every now and again, I wake up thinking, we're still at work. I'm going out for storms and that. This is 14 years later. So it's sort of an interesting feeling once you're out on your own. But, I did have a year's grace, which sort of helped me. In saying that, some people do it a lot quicker than that. They go straight out and make it. But it definitely was a grind for me, but something I loved, so it wasn't hard.
Yeah, were you doing like before work, out in the water before work and after work and weekends?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think I got a few photos taken out of, a cherry picker while I'm at work. So I'd be at work up in the pole and go, oh shit, and I'd pull out my camera and snap a few shots of a few different angles. But yeah, pretty much all weekends I was making stock at home, learn how to make my own frames and take them down to the markets on the weekends and going from
Where'd
there.
you start, Burleigh Markets?
Burleigh Markets, yeah, pretty much the first one. They do 3 beachfront ones, Burleigh, Cooley and Broady. Yeah. But yeah, Burleigh is probably my favourite.
And what avenue did you start in? Was it like, did you start with your beach photography predominantly? Yeah,
pretty much the beach stuff, because that's what I love. I love watching the sunrise at Burleigh. I'd always be down there and there'd be so many people there watching the sunrise and you'd just put my camera out. That's before social media, so it was kind of unique then. And also being out in the surf, you'd be out there surfing and that view when you're out, Burleigh or Kira at sunset and watching those golden waves break, it's something that, surfers know it. And like they say, only a surfer knows the feeling, but my mum and dad didn't really know what that looked like or all that. So I thought, if I can get my camera out here and start shooting back this way, I can start sharing what I'm seeing out there, and it sort of took off.
It's funny you say that you used to see people watching the sunrise, or like people sitting there watching, and you got out a camera, but now it's probably the opposite. Like I know when I'm down there early in the morning, you see people filming the sunrise or taking photos of sunrise, and then there might be one older person over there who doesn't give a shit about their phone and they're watching it.
Yeah, that's
seems like it's done like the full reverse.
Definitely, and there's so many more people now down there. Like before I'd be down there on my own shooting and you wouldn't see anybody, but now you got 10, 20. But it's kind of cool. Like I've thought about that in a few different ways. One sort of way is that now you go up to one of the rocks at Burleigh Hill, I think they call it Cock Rock, and you go up there early in the morning and there's 10, 20 people up there sometimes, young girls and boys and that, and they're all up there just purely to get that Instagram photograph, which is a bit funny, but end of the day, that photo lasts them a few hours on social media, but they're left with that feeling of an adventure, what they've done. So the memory will come later, whereas in the past it used to be you'd have the memory, maybe take a photo. Now you're going to take the photo, then you're left with the memory. So it's kind of made people do a lot more now. It's not always for the right intentions at the start, but I think at the end of the day, they sit there and go, wow, it's pretty cool what we did at that time, and they'll have a story there.
And they re-jog that memory. I suppose you can look back on your photos, can't you? And you're sort of back to that place again.
That's it. Yeah, you'd be sitting there and no doubt you'd be talking to your friends going, I remember that day we did this and you did that, and maybe sometimes it makes it easier for me to get some of the young boys to come with me too, because they think they want to get it for their social media, but end of the day we still have a awesome time just doing what we're doing, but the photography and the social can sometimes drive it, as opposed to in the past where it was taken later, but it's still all good, and I'm loving it. Now
with technology, like I don't know what your first camera was like, but was it almost comparable to what an iPhone is now? You're talking to a real idiot when it comes to photography. I know how to take a photo on an iPhone, that's about it. And maybe edit one. No, I don't even know how to. I'm pretending I don't know how to edit it.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, the first one's for film, so it was all on film at the start, so it's pretty hard exactly how to work that out. I just had a little book, wrote down my settings. Definitely a lot harder. You'd swim out in the ocean with film in my camera, and you'd have 36 photos on your roll. That's all you had. Now I go out with a card that's got, I think I can get about 10,000 photos on it and shoots at 12 frames a second. So there's been such a huge change there, but it's still the same concept though. You still got to know what you're looking at and learn how to see, and just make sure you know how to use that camera to capture what you're seeing at that time. Yeah,
because you're only as good as your knowledge about the equipment too, aren't you? Because you give me your camera on the perfect settings, and
that's
it. It looked like a child took the photo,
Nah,
not your kids, but
but if you've got the right settings, it can be, you can definitely get good shots. I think the biggest part for me has always been to be in the right place at the right time. That's what I'm always sort of focused on. That's like I said this morning, I woke up and just looked out and I could just see that light was so clear. I went, wait, something's happening here. So I got in the car and went. So if you're always out and you're in the right place at the right time, eventually you're going to see something incredible. And then if you know how to use your camera, then you can capture it. So it's important to know the technical sides, boring side, but once you know that, you'll see something and go boom, boom, and change your settings and nail the shot that you want to see.
What's the best place to start being in the right place, trying to make yourself in the right place, or trying to learn your settings?
Well, definitely need to learn your settings. You can do that anytime.
Yeah.
That's the boring part. But if you can just sit there and grind and work that out, and also go out and try to be in the right place at the right time. So, no doubt you'll probably get out there at the start and see something epic and you'll stuff it up. But that'll just push you to learn it. So next time that you don't make those mistakes.
Yeah. Because I'm reading a book at the moment. Well, I'm not reading it. I'm listening to it. I don't know if you're one of those people who say I didn't read the book. But it was called Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
And there was a study at a university of Florida, I think it was. And it was a photography class. And they said he split the class up into halves. Half people, might have been 20 people on one side. And he said to one half, you're going to be judged on quantity. So you're going to get an A, B, or C depending on how many photos you bring to me. So a C might be worth 80, B 90, A 100. And the other side of the class, you had to just bring one photo. All it is, but it has to get an A. It literally has to be the perfect photo. And so he went away and did that and came back, and everybody returned all their photos and everything. And what he found through the whole thing was that the best photos weren't from the people who had to supply the one photo. The best photos came from the people who had to do it on quantity.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it probably does make sense as well, because you're out there and you're pushing, and eventually you're going to be in that spot. Yeah. That's kind of the way I do approach it. Like some photographers I know that will go and camp out at a certain location and wait there for days at a time.
Just a bit closer to you. Yep.
Yeah, and they'll be there for days at a time, just trying to get that right shot where, I'm too impatient to sit around and wait. And I don't know what you do all day when you go to spots like that. So my idea is to always be on the move. And if you're always on the move, taking lots of shots, eventually some of those things will line up and you'll turn up with, something pretty special.
The shot, yeah. So it's a really big quantity.
Yeah, so quantity and obviously making sure when it is going to be quality, you can capture that as well. It's a bit of both. But I do aim for quantity, and you just end up with a quality like that test would have showed.
That must be such a game changer, being able to go digital.
Yeah, digital was quite huge. It was only early in my career. So, wasn't totally used to using film for a long time, but it definitely made things a lot easier.
Yeah, because you think 10,000 photos you could get out there at one morning.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. And then you can look at them straight away. You can print them straight away. Yep. Back in the day, I used to have to get all my film printed, and that used to take a long time, quite expensive. And then you'd be sitting there looking at your photos going, what am I going to do with all these?
Yeah. These ones are crap. You can't delete them.
That's it. Yeah, so you'd waste a lot of money doing it that way.
What about, I know drones pretty popular now. Do you use them much?
I have started using drones. I've been using them probably 2 or 3 years now. It's great. It's kind of at the moment messing me up a little bit because it's just changed the way I can see. And like one of my cameras might be 15, 20 grand's worth of cameras and lenses, and the drones I'm using a couple of $1,000. So the quality that the drone can produce is not as good as the lens and the camera, but the lens and the camera, I can only shoot from where I'm standing basically. Then all of a sudden now I can get up, I can go over there, I can be down lower, I can be flying over that angle, so I can get everything covered with the drone, which is epic. So I'm using it more and more, but I'm kind of just haven't quite got that quality that I have when I'm using my big camera. The one thing I love about the drones though is it does really sort of really helps put you in your place where you are. It's sort of hard to explain, but when I did a lot of trips out in the desert, and you can be out in the middle of nowhere and it feels awesome, but you can't really tell. But you fly that drone up and zoom out on yourself, and you're sitting there looking at yourself going, holy shit, look where I am. I'm camped out here on this little peak in the middle of nowhere. And so they have helped connect me to where I am, which is strange enough, but it really works for me.
It's almost like a navigational tool too, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You could put, like, you could be somewhere and put it right up. Like, I want to be. If I head that way, I can find a cool watering hole or a...
Yeah, 100%. I go up, do that quite a lot, go up and find my way out of tracks. If I've got myself lost going in some tracks, put that up in the air, work out where to go. It's really handy.
So you've been doing a few trips lately?
Yeah, I've done a lot of work social media-wise. I did a lot of work all over the world, but probably the last couple of years, or done 4 laps of Australia now in the last 4 years. So I really started to focus back on Australia, and I've built myself an outback photography truck, which takes me sort of anywhere I want to go, which has been epic.
Yeah, I saw that you got rid of one.
Just sold it in November, and the new one's almost ready. So I'm kind of just waiting for it at the moment.
So you made one that was like, what was a prototype?
Yeah,
and you saw how you could try and...
Yeah, it wasn't a lot to fix on it. I had to fix a couple of things. I had a few sponsors on board that sort of loved it as well, and we wanted to change colours and do something a bit different. So, so the new one's just been made, just sort of worked out that way.
Yeah.
But after having the other one, I've been feeling pretty lost at the moment because all my gear used to be put in its right spots and whatnot. Now I've just got bags and crap everywhere, so it's a bit hard to work out of.
Especially like, you know, with your work trucks, you got to like, you know, where all your tools are and everything. I guess you're very similar where, you know, I can grab it, put my hands on that, put my hands on that.
Yeah, and they're always charged and you know where everything is. Whereas at the moment I'm sort of like, have I charged it? Have I not charged it? And so I am definitely missing that. Plus just the ability, you know, to be out there. I sleep out in my truck, you know, be out in the middle of nowhere. It sort of provides everything. Yeah. Sort of looks after me, which is awesome.
It's a home in one.
That's it. Yeah, it's epic.
So when's that one going to be ready?
I think about another month's time, just after Easter. So
and how long after that are you gone?
Pretty much the rest of the year, I think. I'm sort of back and forth, but I've got some work right up North Queensland. I might be doing a documentary with Canon up that way. Then I'll be coming back, going across Australia again to Northern Territory, WA, and then back around the bottom, sort of home again by November, I think.
And every time you do a lap, do you try and take like a different navigation through it?
I try to find new places. I'm always a little bit rushed, which is unfortunate. I like to have the time just to be able to really spend some time out there, but I'm kind of doing little jobs and linking them together. Plus I've got to be back sort of school holidays with the family, so I'm back by September. But I always find new places when I'm out there and try to explore as much as I can.
So you go when your kids are at school, do you? You take off on your own?
Yeah, pretty much.
Back for when?
Yeah, so I pretty much line up school holidays, either fly them in to join me, or, you know, this September I'm booked back here at a campsite that I go with friends and family, so I've got to make it back for that one.
Yeah. You must be structured, eh? That must be a difficult...
Sort of, a little bit structured. Like I don't like having not too many structures, but I've got a few jobs there, and I'm lucky that the partners I work with are pretty flexible. They say, okay, look, just go here, do this sort of for a week or 2 weeks, and so I'll try to work out when I can get there, and then just spend 2 or 3 weeks just looking around that area and seeing what I can find. And how
does that partnership happen? Does that is it something you put yourself out there for? You know, partnerships, because obviously that helps you live, helps you, you know, survive what you're doing, helps you with product and everything. Because I can imagine photography being a fairly expensive.
Yeah,
especially at your level.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of expenses there. I've sort of been lucky with, like I've got my gallery here at Burleigh Heads, which is my main sort of income. But then I'm a tourism ambassador for Australia, so that sort of helps there. And same with Tourism Queensland. And then I'd look for other little smaller partners, some locations that might want some photography done in areas that I want to be at. And then I've got all these vehicle sponsors and things like that, so they all kind of tie together just to make one big pie. It's a little bit tricky when you're trying to do a lap, trying to make sure you can get the work with each one of them in the locations you're going, but you can normally sort of juggle it around. And at the end of the day, the main thing I am doing is out there looking for photos for my gallery, so if I don't lose either way. I come back with some shots for my gallery, even if I'm not working for a partner at certain points in the trip.
It's content, isn't it, at the end of the day?
That's
all
it.
you're providing.
A lot of content, heaps of content. And there's easier to do the content for your partners, just making sure you get the locations that are going to support you as well. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah. So I've never been through Australia. Like, I'd love to do it, you know, do a trip through the centre or go out to, it's called Uluru now, isn't it?
That's it.
Right.
Uluru.
I better not get it wrong. Yeah, through there. Like, what sort of places are through there, like real hubs that you could, you know?
Yeah, there's just so much, mate. There's like I've done right up North Queensland, but through the centre of Australia, which I've been loving lately. There's the last road trip I did was called the Outback Way, and that goes up to Winton, which is outback Queensland, and then it's about 2,400 kilometres of dirt road straight through the centre of Australia into Western Australia. So you got really outback pubs. You run into a lot of the prospecting areas where, you know, every lot of guys are out there with their partners just looking for gold, and that's like another whole world. That's like their show on the exactly,
is that them? So they're actually out there looking for gold.
Yeah, 100%. And you go to the caravan parks there, and the stories around the fires are pretty funny. You know, they found little tiny nuggets, but they're only little bits of gold. But I think the boys
fill up your fuel tank. That's about it.
That's it. I think they probably make themselves maybe $1,000 a week, so it's not bad when they're out there all day. Maybe a bit less, but they are making themselves money. I think they drink it every night around the campfires and that. But it's definitely interesting, and that's sort of through the gold fields of WA. I found a lot of that sort of just out from Kalgoorlie. So a lot of the pubs out there are all, you know, made to fit around those sorts of people, and so
I wonder how they survive some of those pubs sometimes when I see them, you know, see photos, or because I've never been, but, you know, footage of them. I think, how do you survive? Because all I can envision is walking in there and seeing the same three custodians, you know, sitting there like holding up the bar. That's about all they do, and
that's it. Yeah, some definitely a bit quieter than others. But I suppose it's a lot of the places that's the only shop in the town. It's just one pub and that's it. So I think they just managed to scrape by.
Rent wouldn't be too dear, I don't imagine some of these spots.
But, and that's the towns. But doing that trip, there's a lot of just outback nothingness.
Yeah.
So that's the spots I like the most. So most of the time you just drive along the road, getting close to sunset. When the colours start looking good, I just find a track, get off the track, just go down till you find a nice little space, and usually plenty of firewood, and light up a big fire and shoot the sunset and
Just
do your
wait.
photography. Yeah, wait for the night and shoot the stars at night, because there's no light out there, so it's pretty epic. So a lot of my best photographs for night skies taken that way. Gets interesting out there, can get pretty cold. Usually you don't see anybody, so it's not that that
Have you seen that movie Wolf Creek?
Haven't watched it. I probably don't want to watch it when I'm out there,
Don't.
because the last trip was pretty close to Wolf Creek.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Is it an actual place?
Yeah. It's Wolf Creek Crater, which is out in WA. So I was almost going to go there and watch it, but because a lot of those trips I'm on my own. It's interesting. I've had one night there. It was middle of winter, so freezing cold, and there was no moon, so it's pitch black. And I was sleeping in full-length black thermals, and I sleep in a roof tent on top of the truck. Yeah. And I used to wake up and have to do a piss, and usually try to wee in a bottle or something, and it gets pretty awkward. And I was like, I've had enough of doing this. And so this night I thought, I'm just going to get up and go off the back of the truck. So I've sort of climbed down the ladder and sort of off the ladder, and I've started doing the piss off the back of the ladder, and then just as I was putting it away, this big swoosh, and I think it was an owl, because all I would have seen is my fingers and either my little worm or my snake, whichever way you want to go, but I think it's gone for it and just missed it, and so I was lucky.
Shit.
I was thinking that'd be a pretty good story. Imagine, because those things got talons, so they grab it not to let go, so imagine, no one
try explain that to your wife.
Yeah, no one would believe you. Owl grabbed it.
Yeah, that's why you need to have a little GoPro on you at night when you come in and do that. That'd be terrifying.
Back to weeing in the bottle now. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, so there's lots of little things like that sort of pop up on you when you're out in the middle of nowhere. No more hours though.
Oh no, I had a friend that actually got his bit pierced.
Really?
Yeah, at a drunken night, right? And he was swimming in. I don't know if you've been to New Zealand. You probably have a fair bit in Lake Taupo.
Yeah.
He was swimming in Lake Taupo.
Yeah.
But it was on New Year's. He went nude swimming, and he decided he wasn't going to swim freestyle because he's too scared it would hang down and a fish would come up and take it.
Yeah.
So he had to swim backstroke around the whole thing. So he's swimming around backstroke around in circles, just too afraid.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful in the wild.
I thought you were actually going to say someone got it there.
No.
I was just getting ready for the.
But I just no one knew I was swimming backstroke.
But shit, that would be cold too.
Know. That'd be terrifying, wouldn't it? Do you see what's the wildlife like? I know, obviously with these fires, it gave you a bit of an indication of how much, because when they said a billion animals or reptiles, all that died, it's hard to fathom that sort of volume. Like to think that all of that is out there, and obviously that's just a portion of the country that was burnt and killed.
Yeah.
How much wildlife are you coming across out there?
Well, not as much as that as you'd think listening to that. Like,
'cause that sounds like it's infested out there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not like that. So I'm not sure exactly how those numbers would be worked out. Yeah. But also during the day, they do seem to keep away from most spots. In the afternoons and the nights, the kangaroos come around. We've seen a lot of koalas, more so locally the koalas up at Stradbroke Island and that. Had a lot of camels out there, a lot of wild horses on my last trip. Yeah. Heaps of emus, wombats in the right area. Yeah. Dingoes, but not massive amounts. It's enough to get some good shots every now and again. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't had too many problems. I did see a camel on the side of the road, but been hit at the Nullarbor. I was thinking, shit, you wouldn't want to hit a camel. Yeah. That's a big.
Hopefully that was a road train that did that. Not
even a road train. It must have been a road train, but even a road train, you think it could be a bit of trouble.
Because those things are massive, aren't they? Like that.
Yeah.
I didn't realise they were in the wild in Australia. It wasn't until I was at the Mudgebar show.
Yeah.
And I saw a camel. They were doing camel rides, and they said they were from the outback.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way they're from the outback. And then I googled it, and there was something like 750,000 in the outback.
Well, I think even Saudi Arabia is trying to get camels back off us now. Like we've got some of the
camel export.
Yeah, I think so. We've got some of the best camels. Yeah. But they
let's go round some up.
But they're not native, obviously. They have come from there, but now they've just bred. Along the Nullarbor, I was driving along there once and come across a herd. I suppose it's a herd of camels. There would have been about 100 of them. Yeah, it looked pretty awesome. So I got the drone up and got some good footage of the camels flying along, or running along the road and whatnot.
What do you eat out there? You don't hunt or anything to?
Nah, I was going to say,
what if you could eat a camel?
Yeah, actually, I've heard of a story.
Camel?
Probably drink camel. I think you drink camel milk.
You can eat camel. Have you eaten a camel?
I don't know that I've eaten.
You might not. You've been in Vietnam, so you might have eaten camel without knowing it.
Just been eating buffalo.
Yeah, definitely eating dog. Yeah.
I did hear a story of my uncle. He does a lot of outback work, and I remember he said he came one track where you don't see people for 3 or 4 days, and he came across one guy that had broken down out there, and he said he had his gun out and he was getting ready to shoot a camel if someone didn't come soon to get some milk or something. So Yeah, I think some people do occasionally, but
They got water on the humps, don't they?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, bit of hydration. Could be the perfect animal.
Yeah.
Hydration, meat.
That's it. I don't know how you get the hydration out of them.
Yeah.
Big straw in its hump or
Could
something.
be like a coconut.
Yeah,
You never know. Yeah, camel nut.
That's it.
So what do you take it? Like, you've obviously got a little refrigerator that you take all your chilled goods in. But
Yeah.
do you plan, like, or do you sort of you like hash it out and think, oh, you know, I can, or do you take like freeze dried meals or?
Bit of all that, all of the above. Depends on where and how long I'm going. That trip when I did right across the Outback Way, that was kind of moving pretty quickly. So it probably took me 2 weeks in total. So every day or two, I'd come past. When I say Roadhouse, it'd be very limited little shop. You know, one had a heap of kangaroo tails in there, frozen kangaroo tails you could throw on the fire if you wanted to.
Did you?
No, I almost did. I was sort of looking. I didn't know what they were at first. I'm going, what are these things? And there's a lot of Indigenous guys coming in just grabbing them all. I'm like, what are they? And I asked they're all sold, and he goes, yeah, they're kangaroo tails. I was like, shit, how do you cook them? He goes, yeah, just throw them in the fire till they crisp up and get into them. But I didn't.
Lamb's tails is popular in New Zealand.
Yeah,
so it must be similar.
Yeah, maybe. But these are big, long things. I thought they were something big. I thought they were like a big sweet potato or something at first. Got so huge and funny shape. But so I have a bit of frozen stuff, a little bit of dried stuff just for emergencies, and a bit of fresh stuff when I can get it.
Yeah. That's what I would assume in that like outback areas. Like, you sort of almost got to be self-sufficient, and that's obviously how you set up your vehicle to be, you know, self-sufficient and all working for you. But the sites out there are just unreal, because there's no. I remember I worked a little bit out in where was I? Wandoan, not far from Dalby and Roma.
Yes,
up that way somewhere.
Yeah, I think I did go through there. That's
just
in Western Queensland.
Yeah, I just hopped in the red car and they took us out there. I'd work out there, but the one thing that blew me away was the sky. Yeah. Like, you don't realise how much pollution we have here, or light pollution more than anything, to like how open it is out there. Like, that's actually what the sky's meant to be like.
That's it. And
it's like it literally feels like you're in a different planet.
Place. That's it. Especially with no moon around, and you know, I think the air's just so much clearer. There's no also no clouds, you know, usually in winter and that out there. So it's epic. Yeah. And even just the sunset, the way that the glow you get out there, that orange to blue glow as the sun's going down, that's sort of awesome as well. So what do you do with your time as you're driving? I'm just trying to envision you driving, and you're sort of always watching. You're always watching for opportunity, or you're not obviously not just trying to go A to B so you can make it for a sunset, maybe sometimes, but are you always looking, that, you know, that's a different something I can take a photo of, there's a windmill, there's a 100%. Couple of kangaroos having a scrap. Yeah, 100%, just eyes open, looking. It's interesting, you know, we're doing a podcast now. Sometimes I listen to podcasts, but sometimes I can't, because I know a good one you can listen to. There you go. Yeah. Sometimes I can't listen to them though, because I'm I can't concentrate with my photographic brain if I'm listening to podcasts. Yeah. So the podcasts are great when I'm just beelining at home and I just want to have something to keep me company. But if I'm driving trying to shoot, I've kind of got to turn them off so I can just keep my eye open, looking for those opportunities and pull over, turn around, come back, or thinking about trying to get to a location for sunset. And if I'm pulling up camp, trying to think of a nice spot for the morning to shoot. So you're always looking and working things out. Because you can switch off. Yeah, hey, and you don't, like, I do that sometimes when I'm driving to Brisbane. I'll be listening to a podcast or an audio book, and then I'm here, and I haven't seen anything worth noting on the way. That's it. It's amazing what a bit of silence can. Yeah, and I only got into the podcast probably 2 years ago, and it was awesome for my trips back when I was I'd done my work and I'm heading home. It was just like unreal, and just jump in the car at 6 a.m. and pretty much go till 7 o'clock at night, and just make the time fly. Yeah. But there's only so much music you can listen to, before it becomes repetitive. Especially when it's the same playlist, I think, for the last 5 trips around Australia. So I definitely need to update that. We get the audio books. That'd be good. I don't know if there's any photography ones. I haven't really tried too many audio books. I probably should have a go. I suppose podcasts and audio books a bit different, but I feel like what I like them for is I feel like my time's not wasted. I feel like if I'm like you're saying, you drive from 5 in the morning till 7 at night, that's a lot. That's carry the 13 hours. No, jeez, 12 hours. Yeah, that's it. No, what are we doing? 14. Yeah, that's a lot of hours. That's quite a long time. Yeah, and that's just downtime where you can, you're utilising it for something else. I guess with you. Interesting. So audio books, as in something you can learn audio books. Is that what you mean? Yeah, exactly. Well, what do you like to read? Yeah. Do you read? I don't read much. No, listen to podcasts. I'm pretty sure there's a photography book you can listen. Yeah. But you know what I mean. Like there's lots of. That's why I like it, because I feel like I'm not wasting my time. Yeah. Because that's a bugbear of mine. Like I do a lot of travel. Yeah. And I feel like I'm wasting my time, and it's frustrating. It's a good idea, because you could be learning. That's what I'm trying to say to my young boys. You know, they're on Instagram and trying to get their photos for their Instagram, and they sit there and look at it, and all their mates look at it for so long. I'm guys, you know, you don't want to be sitting there looking at this. Go out there and create stuff and get everybody looking at you. You know, think of the amount of stuff you could learn instead of spending 2 hours on Instagram. You could be YouTubing how to, you know, set your camera up and shoot night photos or whatever. So they'll get themselves way ahead if they can use that time to learn as opposed to just, you know, mindfully going through looking at other people's photos. So that's not a bad point. I might have to look at some audio books about things that I can learn about.
Audible, I think it is. It's just an app you can download.
I've heard of it,
and they're cheap. Like, and I think I sign up for it for maybe $7 a month or something, maybe $15 a month, and then you get one book a month free. Which is pretty hard to go through a book a month. Especially with your downtime, but.
But there's big drives I can. But I've just got to make sure it's on my way back. On the way there, I probably wouldn't be able to listen and learn and shoot. But there's always gaps. So you've got a destination you want to be at on the way. You weave your way there, and then when you're coming home, it's like home time. There'll be done. Usually points like once I know I'm finished, I'm heading home. That's usually my big podcast trip. But a lot of the other times, it's definitely I'm going from A to B to work. So those are ones I'm really thinking about what I'm trying to shoot. So just be a matter of working out when I'm switching off. But when I switch off, I'm never right off. You know, if I'm seeing the sunset go, that's it. It's on again. And you're drifting in and out of it, eh? That's sometimes it. And sometimes I like it even better when it just everything goes shit, because then you can turn off because you don't think you have to go out and create something. Like I can be with my mates and we all go camping and that, and it could be a windy, overcast sort of afternoon. I'm like, yes, we can sit around and have a few beers and I don't have to care. Whereas if it's a nice looking sky and the waves are pumping, I'm like, oh, I can't really just sit around anymore. I've got to go out there and shoot this. So.
Do you feel like you're always on?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because if something's looking good, because I love it. That's the easy part. So it's not like work, but always on. And it's the same. I used to be like that with lots of different things. I used to love fishing. I used to like to go out to the reef, but you know, I used to have a girlfriend when I was younger, and she's like, "Oh, don't go out fishing. Can you stay home with me?" I'm like, "No, I want to go fishing." But if the weather went to shit, I'd be like, "Yes, I'd be happy," because then I didn't have. You could just let go of it. I could let it go. Whereas if it's opportunities there, I can't let it go. I've got to take whatever it is.
What's your job?
Sorry,
that's your job, isn't it? Like you've got to continue to create.
And when you love it, it's easy. So but sometimes it's nice not to have that thought, and you can just not even worry about it when everything's not so good.
I think with people like you, I know you're in the water a fair bit. Obviously, with what you're doing, you're like a sitting duck in the water. I don't know if I should be bringing this up to you. You probably try and zone this out. Have you had any experiences with wildlife in the water where you?
A little bit. Probably just won't let me little boys listen to this one. That's all good. My youngest, he loves it. He chases sharks with me. Not my youngest, my middle son Reef. My youngest, he's pretty frightened of it. I've had a few occasions where I've seen him out there. I've been at Fingal once and saw a big, look like a combi van underwater, just a big colour, just sort of swam towards me and then just turned and went straight out to sea. And I was like, okay, that just went. But nothing super freaky. That's probably as bad as it's got.
Was that during it was a white shark?
I reckon that was, it was at Fingal. And I think I've seen a big tiger at Fingal as well. A lot of my bad ones have been at Fingal. Once I sort of saw it was on a wave cane just up in front of me. I was swimming with my camera and I thought it was a big manta ray or something. It's like a big round circle. I think, what is that? And then the next wave's come and it's turned, gone sideways, and I saw the full length of it then. I think it's a big tiger shark. So the first one was just its head coming straight at you. And I've had another shark.
You make me feel uneasy now.
Yeah, sometimes it's interesting. The worst one was once I was out there by myself as well, and I saw a shark sort of in the wave like that, and it sort of darted past me and then gone into the gutter. So then I was sitting at the sort of on the bank going, fuck, I don't know where to go now, do I? I can't really go in because that's where the sharks went. And so I sort of swam up a bit and there's a couple of surfers and I told them, and then we waited and then went in when we thought we could do it. But
so you notice you said not really when I asked you, and you said not really, but you pumped out 3 stories real quick. And I can imagine those are just the ones you've remembered.
That's it.
How many have you forgotten?
Try not to think about them. I was only saying it to my boy the other day. I said, because he's out there freaking out and he's right beside me half the time. We're going, get away from me, go the other side. He goes, no, he's sitting right on my shoulder because he's worried about it. But I said, one's going to hit you. It's going to hit you. You're not going to see it coming. So there's no point just sitting out there stressing the whole time. I was either don't go out or just, let it go.
I don't know if I could have that same sort of positivity towards it.
It's the worst used to be, I like shooting like the golden barrel waves. So that's when you're sitting out there at sunset and the sun's going down and you're out there. And I've had a few times when I've been at Kira or Byron Bay when I've done a lot of this, and especially when it's big and you're quite a long way out and you're shooting that. But once that's finished, then the sun sets, so it's getting quite dark.
Yeah.
And so you've got that huge gutter that you've got to swim across, and it's getting darker, and that's when you feel like shark bait because you're coming in. Yeah. Especially when it's big, because it's a long way out from Kira. And I have seen a few sharks around there before.
Yeah.
And
well, they're there. That's where they live.
That's it. They're everywhere. So
and you've probably 10 times more have gone past you've never seen.
Yeah,
than you've ever seen.
And I think the drones is a big thing with that. You can bring them out now and you see them everywhere now.
Yeah.
Like I was at Fraser Island, Straddie not long ago with my boys, and there's all bait fish right in close. I got the drone up and there was sharks everywhere, big tigers.
Really?
Some of my most famous footage I did was at a surfing spot called the Red Bluff in WA. That was about 2 years ago. I think the BBC Earth actually used it on some of their footage. Yeah. And there was a bait ball that was probably 500-600 meters long with probably 300 sharks all the way around it, everywhere. And they actually, 2 of the sharks swam right up to a bodyboarder. There's about 3 bodyboarders that are sitting there floating on their back. The sharks come right up to him and then just got about a metre away and then just turned. And I was filming it with his father, looking at it. He's going, oh, okay, that's a bit interesting. But he lives there. He goes, mate, they're there all the time, these sharks. And then I was fishing off the same headland while those sharks were still there, and we'd be sitting there with me boy looking out, and you're looking straight underneath you, and all of a sudden this massive shark would come underneath you because we're just on these rocks on the edge of the cliff. And it's like SeaWorld looking down. I was like, this is epic. And then he would go away, and then 5-10 minutes later a guy would snorkel around and he's diving down pulling up lobsters the same spot. I was just going, this place is out of control. But but having that drone, you just realised how many there were.
So that would be my problem with photography. I couldn't do it because I'd have to be in a cage out there, and I'd have to have a drone having footage, making sure with some sort of radio, so the infrastructure just wouldn't work for me. I'm not ballsy enough to be out there on my own, just floating around.
Depends where you are, like I had jumped in the cage at South Australia. I'm not a real big fan of that. One of my sons really wanted to try and see the white sharks, but we actually didn't see one. But that was kind of interesting, just jumping out there and getting inside it. And like I was holding it, my arms hanging out of the cage trying to hold on because I was all losing me balance. I was thinking, one is here. It's not real good. My arms hanging out of the cage.
Losing a limb.
But try not to think about it too much.
No. I did a shark dive in Hawaii, and we were in there. It was just these sharks. They were, I don't know what they were, but they were quite big, but you could just tell they were so docile. And as soon as the boat arrived, the guy told us, they come because this is where they get fed. Yeah. And we hopped down the cage, but it was pathetic. Like I would have been pretty confident. I think I would have been confident being not in the cage. Okay. Because I've seen heaps of footage, like they had galleries down there where guys would swim with them and just take photos of them. And they were clearly pretty docile. None of them, they just didn't look aggressive.
Interesting that they had you in the cage though, so I'm not sure what sharks they would be.
I think it was probably more of a safety/insurance thing where you can't, and also you cage dove with sharks. Yeah, that was the theory, but it wasn't. So it wasn't quite like when I was flying, going out there in the boat. You sort of envision these massive sharks coming up and bashing into the cage. You think it's going to be this massive adventure, but when you get in, it's just
Have you seen those footage when the sharks do get in those cages?
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, that's what I prepared myself for. Was this cage? I thought, how am I going to wrestle it?
Yeah, because a lot of those other sharks I know, and the Cook Islands and Tahiti, I've been in there with them, and they come right up to you. And I've been in there with the tourists when we've been shooting the photos, and the operator's like, once everyone gets out, I'll leave you there. And he's throwing pilchards right in front of my lens. So I got photos of these sharks coming up and their mouth open, smashing right in front of my lens. So it was interesting. That sort of freaked me out a little bit. And I was like, I don't really want you to be feeding them. I don't mind swimming around them. But so they had different types of sharks for sure.
Yeah, that great white that actually gets in the cage with that, is it a lady? I think it is, or might be a bloke.
I think there's a couple. I saw one the other day, and the shark. There's a different one again. The shark got really injured in there and ripped the cage apart. That was pretty bad.
Ripped its fin or something. Eh? I think I saw that one.
Got stuck in there. But the other one, I think it's a guy, and he's right down the bottom. Hey, and they don't even know if he's in there, and they. Yeah, then at the end he's
because the shark almost fills the cage. Yeah, that's how big it is.
Yeah, that'd be pretty freaky.
I'd just be worried I'd drown because I get stuck in there because I'd just be in a corner. I don't know if a shark could get me if I was in the corner.
Yeah, that's it. I think he had one of those airlines on, but shit, anything could have gone wrong.
Shark could bite through that.
That's it. And then he had no air. Then he's got to come up through past the shark. Yeah, bugger that.
Have you ever thought about crocodiles? Going swimming with those?
No. I wouldn't.
They're dinosaurs, eh?
Yeah, that's one thing you can't get in the water with those things. I've filmed them a lot, photographed them. I've seen them like chewing on cows in some of those rivers up in the Kimberley.
Really?
Yeah, floating down the river. I actually got some other bit of drone footage that went viral. It was a big drone I brought down on top of a real big croc, and he's leapt out of the water and almost snapped me drone. So really? I got this film of this mouth open, almost taking it.
Must look that one up.
And those things kind of stress me out probably more than sharks, because I don't quite understand where you can go and where you can't go.
Yeah, that's what. Whenever we have visitors come over to Australia, they're like, can I swim in this? Because everyone assumes that in every waterway in Australia there's a crocodile.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know where it starts and begins.
Yeah. Well, you can work out where that happens, but then you don't know, can I stand on the bank here and fish? Because some people are standing close and some people aren't standing anywhere near the bank.
Yeah.
I think it kind of depends on how clear the water is. You know, if the water is muddy and you're up there, yeah, you got to be about 4 or 5 meters away from the water even.
Yeah.
You know, you can take the risk of getting down lower and be unlucky.
Not
but
dinosaurs,
yeah, and then I've been out in little boats where
Yeah.
some people haven't cared. Then I've been out in little boats and guys seen crocodiles and got the hell out of there real quick because they've been freaked out by the size of them. And I'm like, okay, so
I've seen them. I've seen footage of people snorkeling, tank diving with crocodiles. Maybe they're alligators.
I think they're alligators.
Are they? Where they almost hibernate, don't they? They almost
Yeah.
go down and they just sitting there stagnant inside the water, inside, and the people are swimming around them. Maybe that's in the colder climates.
I think it's, I've seen a bit of that. I think they're alligators, I reckon.
A lot of assumptions.
It has to be
here,
something
eh?
different
Yeah.
because those things, I think the proper saltwater crocodile, that's just it'll just eat you. There's no questions about it. It will take you if you're near it.
Because I've seen footage of guys feeding a crocodile, and they throw it, and the crocodile, not the guy, I'm not sure if it was a female or male, grabs its neighbour's arm,
Shit.
does a death roll, and just took its arm off and then ate the arm
Of the other crocodile.
of the other crocodile. And the other crocodile sort of just was pissed and just wandered off back into the water. I thought,
With
fuck,
one
it's took
arm
my arm.
gone. Yeah,
But I think they grow back.
Don't know.
I think crocodiles' arms grow back.
No.
Don't they?
No, they lose them.
Yeah.
The
Well,
answer to where can you be is fucking nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere near.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
They're bad news.
Yeah. That's
Crocodiles' arms don't grow back.
Yeah. I had the same thing when I was in Canada, with the grizzly bears and that. So
Oh, yeah.
same thing there. I don't quite get it either. I was like walking some trails that they say they're there, and I say, well, do you walk here or you don't walk here?
Yeah.
Or it's just like,
And
same
then they give
thing.
you spray.
Yeah.
Beer spray.
Yeah.
You think, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Spray.
Like, when do I spray? When it's on me or when it's coming towards me?
Yeah, when you're running away.
When you're running away. Like, I don't understand the bit. And then there's the I've seen a footage of a chick. She was no, it's a guy, and he's holding a GoPro in front of him, and he's snowboarding down a mountain, and he's snowboarding, like filming himself, and then in the background you see a bear come behind him and then run past him, like sort of come at him and then run past him, miss him.
Wow.
He's going too fast for the bear, but the
Wow.
bear gallops after him for
Shit.
yeah.
And he's trying to get away from the bear.
He didn't know it's there.
Wow.
He's just snowboarding, just
Wow.
sort of just cruising around snowboarding.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they debunked that one as being
Not
fake,
true.
but it was pretty real to me.
Yeah, well, when I was there, some of the rangers told me that they had one of their rangers was riding his push bike, like a mountain bike, through, and he had backpack on with his bear spray in it. And he's come around the corner, and a bear's just been right in the track, and it's just whacked him, knocked him straight off the bike, and just gone straight into his back with his mouth. But he's punctured the bear spray can in his backpack. And that's what saved him. This thing's exploded in the bear's face, and somehow he's got away with it. So I don't know how true it was, but this is coming from their rangers about another ranger. So yeah, and I think someone else had told me they'd heard the same story. Pretty interesting.
How lucky would you be? Well, that's a good tall tale anyway.
Yeah,
if it
that's
is.
it. And that's what the thing. Like I'm out there I was shooting Northern Lights on my own, and standing out in poles trying to do the Instagram shot, thinking, shit, I see bears around here. Am I going to stand out here? And
well, that's the thing. Like, and once because they're so stealth, you just wouldn't know they're there.
no,
Like they know you're there, but you don't know they're there. But like the sharks, isn't it?
yeah, but then I think certain spots, some areas are much bigger brown bears, and some are smaller little brown black bears, and so it was same as the crocodiles. I'm never 100% sure where is really good or bad.
You got to be an expert, eh? You almost want to have like a wilderness expert with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, but even those guys, like I did have one guy hike with me through the Yukon, which is a really sort of frontier area of Canada, and that's where they reckon everything is bigger. And you can see walking past trees, and you'll just see this big 5-finger scrape down this tree, probably 20 centimeters long, where he's just put a big claw mark through. And I was looking at that going, shit, that's a lot of power there. Even if I had a knife with both my hands, and I reckon I could make one line like he's made with 5.
Fuck.
But he goes, they're through here because you don't have to worry about it. Just keep making noise. They'll get out of your way. But he said he was also
That's a good theory.
Sort of, yeah. I think it's a bit like the in the water, making noise, or on the land trying to get the snakes away.
Yeah.
But he said he was in some backcountry there once, and he was sort of doing that, and then he's come across a big brown bear, I think he said it was, but he goes, this was a predatory bear. He said different to the normal bears. He goes, this one just wanted him. He said he had a dog with him. He wasn't interested in the dog. He said he ended up having to like just fight it off by throwing stuff at it and slowly hiking his way back for about 4 or 5 Ks. He said it was like an hour. The thing just kept slowly coming at him every now and again and have a go at him. And he knew everything about bears, how to treat them, how to stand up big and try to scare the bear. And he said, he had to fight this thing off for hours before he got back. But I think he had bear spray as well. I don't know if he had to spray that in the end, but I think it was pretty terrifying.
That's too much.
Yeah, so that's a different type of bear. He said that's a predatory bear. That's one that wants to kill you. Most of them, he goes, I'll just take off.
Yeah, every bear wants to kill you. That's like every snake. I treat it like it's trying to kill me.
That's it.
I give it that far of birth. That's trying to attack me at all times.
Yeah, the snakes. I don't like the snakes that much either.
You're,
haven't come across too many. I do see them a bit, but not a hell of a lot. Same thing, trying to make the noise, keep them away when I'm walking through the bush and make sure I wear the right shoes.
So when you're taking photos, when you look at something, like I look at things, I don't have a photography sort of mind. Like I don't look at it like it'd be a cool photo. But have you ever put yourself in a position where just to get the shot, you've had to put yourself in a pretty dangerous position?
Yeah, a little bit. I try not to do it as much as I probably did when I was younger.
Yeah.
You still do it. Big surf, getting in front of the big waves. I don't go down the cliff edges like you see people do, those sorts of things. Maybe I might be rushing through some long grass and that could be a bit stupid with snakes and that are around. You definitely put yourself in some tricky spots when you swim out in the big surf. Anything can happen there as well. I've sat there at Tahiti at Chopu watching those 20-foot waves. Sitting in the boat only 2 or 3 meters away. That felt pretty good because you're in a boat. You are trusting this other guy.
That's a weird wave though, where you can almost sit in that channel, like you can get so close to that place. Eh?
Oh, it's insane. I was only like booked in to be there one day, and it was like one of the best surfing days I've ever had for competition. So I was pretty lucky to score the one day of the whole thing I was planned for. But that was epic.
Did you get in the water?
No, I didn't. So I was just sitting in the boat. But probably easier in the boat with a longer lens anyway.
Yeah. I'd be worried to be in the water that I'll just start to drift towards the
wrong spot.
The wrong spot.
It sucks out. And there's a wave breaking sort of behind me as well, like a right hand closeout as well. So it is a bit hectic, but
You've seen boats go over the falls at Chopu, eh?
I've seen it, not in person, but definitely seen it. But
that's not forgiving at all, that place.
No, if you got caught there, you'd be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But probably the other dangerous things are, just choppers and planes. Little choppers, and I've had one that's landed on top of the fingers in the Kimberley. I remember sitting up there, and the pilot was sort of saying, when we took off and went up a bit and then dropped off backwards and then really took off. I was just thinking he's doing a cool little takeoff and whatnot, and then later that night, sort of at the pub, he's there talking to a few other pilots. He's like, I had given it full power and still didn't have enough power to get the updraft because the temperature had changed or something, so I had to drop off backwards to get the... I'm like, shit, is that what you did?
You just thought he was showing off.
I just thought he was just doing a cool little takeoff, but you hear about things like that, and some things do go wrong, so...
Because you put yourself in, like, geez, you'd see so much more of the world than most people, just having those opportunities to be able to go everywhere. Yeah,
and it's awesome, but like the same thing, you get slightly more risks, I suppose. I've had one plane, I reckon it close to crashing, that was in Tonga. It's full of Tongans, and we're flying along the...
What are you trying to say?
Full of big Tongans.
Big Tongans,
and we're chockers, and we're flying along the runway to get up in the air, and just wasn't getting up. I'm going, this is a bit odd. And then he sort of pulled up last minute, and I was like, all right. And we've gone up probably 10 stories high, and then it's just nosedive and come straight back down the ground. And I just saw him in the front pushing buttons and pulling flaps or whatever. And then it's just before it's pulled up, and off he went. And that kind of shook me for a while. And when we landed, I said to him, mate, what the hell happened? Because everyone on the plane sort of all freaked out the whole way. He goes, we're going along, and the handbrake came on halfway along or something, and something happened. Not handbrake, but he said the brakes were left on or something. But so just the more you are in spots like that, unfortunately, I think slightly more risks.
Yeah,
you see that with everybody. There's guys going down choppers and things all over the world. And
just I suppose the more you travel, it just increases, doesn't it? That's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's it. So hopefully I'll just keep being a bit smart and make sure I take the right choices.
So when you're a struggling photographer that's just trying to, you're trying to get yourself out there, but when you get the proper partners, you can afford to be, a bit more safer with your travel and a bit more,
Yeah, that's it. Just be a bit more picky and make sure you just go with the people that are reputable and try to do that as much as I can. That's why I started looking after myself now. I've got my own truck and don't have to worry about anybody else at all.
Well, that truck looks unreal.
Yeah, can't wait for it to actually.
Who got the other one?
So
A budding photographer? Because if I was a budding photographer, that's what I'd buy. I'm having his truck, and I'm going to try and replicate what you would do, you know?
Well, yeah, I have seen quite a few photos coming through from it, so he must be into it a little bit. He's actually a pilot, Virgin pilot, so he's got a caravan, young family, so he's sort of done a few extra things to it, and so it's living another life, which is good to see. But,
It confuses me. It was a Land Cruiser, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Those things, like, I'm not a big car guy. I don't know much, but every Land Cruiser I see, it could be a 1979 or it could be a 2010. I have no idea because they just don't change.
Yeah.
Does it change when you open the door? Like
not the 79.
Everyone wants one of those things.
Yeah, like there's a 200 series, which is the nice one. The 79 hasn't changed. It's like the Telstra.
Is the 200 series still the same shape?
No, 200
that's
series
the more sleek looking one.
Yeah, and that's a lot nicer inside. The 79. It doesn't even have a coffee holder. You know, it's got no armrests. It's just got. I think you can even still get a tape player in it. Maybe I think air conditioning's optional, and it's pretty basic. But
they've cornered the market with those things because they just keep producing them. Everyone keeps buying them and frothing at the mouth over them for some reason. Yeah,
that's it. I think it's a good looking truck, and then once you do a few things, there's a few partners that can modify inside them and make them a lot more comfortable. It's been pretty epic to work out.
You see them all through the Outback.
Yeah, it's quite a lot now. There's heaps now. And, I've got in the back, I've got a massive battery, so I've got plenty of power. I've got a big inverter, so I can run microwave, cooker, even an electric blanket in my bed if I need it from it.
Really?
So I've got everything charging. I've got a phone. I've got a fridge in there. I've got a freezer in there. Then I've got hot water service in there. Sort of everything.
So you're glamping. You're not just camping, you're
That's
glamping.
It, yeah. You can pull up and whatever you want to
comfortable.
do. That's it. You got cold beer wherever you are and all your gear. That's the thing I like about it. I might be, shooting sunset out some really random location and just like, this looks nice, and once I've shot it, I'll just pull over the car and stay the night there. Most of those really isolated locations, you can just do that.
Have you come across any you probably would have Indigenous communities out there?
Yeah, I did a lot of work with Indigenous communities, especially in WA. It's awesome. It's definitely interesting. Some places are more different than the others, but it's something I really like doing. It's a project that I'm going to be working on hopefully this year with Canon up in North Queensland. So
are they inviting?
Yeah, they are definitely.
Yeah,
once you you show the respect and you get welcome to country, then they just want to show you everything. So especially when you get right out into those rural little communities, it's definitely something worth seeing.
Because they're fully self-sufficient out there, aren't they? They're not. Well, when I say self-sufficient, they're not like there's no supermarkets, no nothing out there. They're just a community that just lives off whatever's.
Yeah, they still have their shops over there that they get their food from, but they are pretty much left alone, a lot of those spots. But and the tourism side's starting to grow out there, which is what I really like. People think Australia hasn't got a lot of ancient culture or whatnot, but we've got the oldest culture in the world basically here, so it's a huge asset for Australians. Unfortunately, a lot of the Australians aren't going and doing these tourism projects like the Indigenous guys are putting on, but they get a lot of customers from Europe and all that come and get their tours because they got so many good stories to tell. That's something that I think we really need to grow in Australia because the things they've got to show it's incredible.
And how do you get to see those unless it's you?
Oh well, they are operators now. If you look up on a lot of the tourism websites, they'll have Indigenous operators. The ones that I did were all through Western Australia, so they were out in some pretty isolated locations. But there's stories out there, like one area is called Tunnel Creek, and I think the police were chasing an Indigenous he's a guide, but there's a big story around how he hid out in this tunnel and they used to grab them all and anyway, so big stories out there, but but there's lots of places that can show that. I've done some up on Broome, a place called Cape Leveque, and the guy just takes you out fishing, mud crabbing and showing you his country that way. A lot of bush tucker sort of tours,
that's cool,
and a lot just showing you their history and what's happened in the area and how it became to be the area that it is.
Because you could really immerse yourself out there too, like on those tours, like all the cool stuff they do, like that bush tucker tour would be good to go on. Yeah, it's awesome. The amount of things you can eat. The mud crabbing one, that's one we loved. Me and my boy, we went out with the guy there, Barty, his name was, and he took us through, and we caught heaps of mud crabs, cooked them on the fire, and then they take you to show you some traditional artwork in some of the caves and what the things mean. And, it's just are you allowed to take photos of the traditional stuff?
Depending, like different places you can, some you can't. Some only men can look at, some kids can't look at, some everybody can look at. There's some places that are women's only places.
Really?
Yeah. So I think they're birthing spots that men can't go to either. Everywhere's different.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's because there's all those tours. Like, I imagine it would be a really cool thing to go. Right, well, I'm going on a Indigenous week. Yeah, where you can just get shown everything and
there's so much to learn. And like the more I looked into it, I'm not sure how many different tribes. It's like 200 or 300 different tribes throughout Australia or more. So each one's basically like their own different country. So they all separate from each other. So they've all got
their languages vary too.
All different languages. Yeah. So when you talk about Indigenous people, it's not just one big group. It's heaps of different little ones, and they've all got different cultures. And some will allow you to photograph artwork. Some won't. Some will let you do this. Some won't. Some will. But they all got an awesome story to tell.
I guess if you approach it from a respect point of view, like you're saying, you're welcome to the country, and then you or just ask everything. That's it. You can't really go wrong.
No, you can't.
Because if you're polite, then
if you go in there and you're wanting to learn and show respect, you'll get shown. One of the best things you'll see as far as tourism goes, for sure.
So to the end, they're keen to show you the spots. That you want to, like you say, take me somewhere good, take a photo of.
Yeah, definitely. And they'll just they just want to share what they love about the country, you know, and they do, and they want to protect it, and they know how they've always protected it, and they've been taught how to protect it. They want to share that knowledge onto you. They might not show me their secret little spot because I'm a little bit of an outsider, but if you're there for a while, you'll probably find spots like that. They'll take you fishing, they'll take you everywhere. The more isolated you get, the better it is.
What about overseas travel for you? Like you were saying about being Tonga, the Yukon, all of those places. Where's some of the best places you've been fortunate enough to go to for photography wise?
I did one a couple of years ago. It's up in northern Canada. I'm trying to remember the name. Baffin Island, and that's where the flow edge is. So I was trying to shoot narwhal, which is those whales with the big
with the unicorn
things on them. That was very remote. Once again, I was with Indigenous communities that were out there, and they were out there hunting those things, and they're out there hunting polar bears as well. And then we've got this tourism camp that's sort of right in the middle of these two places, so it's pretty interesting where they're trying to look for whales and polar bears, and then either side of you got these camps of hunters waiting to shoot the same thing. And that was really remote. Like
they shoot the narwhals?
Narwhal.
They shoot them.
They shoot them, and they shoot the polar bears as well.
No shit.
But they've been doing it their whole life,
Like, fellas, just let me get some good shots, and then
sort of. It's pretty hard, but I didn't actually see them shoot it, but they get so many tickets, and I think they are. I think there's a certain right amount of numbers there that can be sustainable. It's the hunters that fly in and pay for the tags that sort of I don't like, or the traditional guys that have always done it. That's sort of their thing.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think there would be a few people that fly in and try to pay huge money to get one of their tags to go and shoot a polar bear, which is pretty terrible.
It's pretty cool. Like those, I watched that Life Below Zero. Yeah, have you seen that show?
No.
Oh, it's unbelievable. They follow like the remote people who live like in really remote locations all through Alaska, and which is, am I getting my coordinates wrong? That's further up, isn't it?
No, it's sort of, it's close area. Yeah, to the left more.
But some of the footage they get of like caribou and all the bears and grizzly bears and things like that up in that area is just unreal.
Yeah,
I thought they'd be some of the best.
It is. It's hard. It's like there's no access. You can only sled or dog sled. I camped on ice. There's 24-hour sunlight because I was there in their summer. Still, minus 10, minus 20. So there's like a black tent, but the floor of the tent was like fluorescent blue because it's just the ice was glowing. So all night it's got this glowing floor.
Like having LED lights at the bottom of your
it's crazy.
tent.
Yeah, and then we had a blizzard hit us there, and we couldn't get out, and we couldn't basically leave our tents for 2 days, and then the last day that the tents actually got blown away, so everything went. We had to sort of hike out to there was an emergency hut on a cliff face somewhere there, which we hiked and waited in there for it to all blow over. And there's polar bears all around there, but that was just all white or ice. So it wasn't a hell of a lot to see there. It was a pretty epic experience.
That's the adventure though, wasn't it? Of it, like,
yeah, that was definitely an adventure, that one. Flying in about 3 different planes and arriving in this little community, and they weren't that happy to see tourists there then because they sort of still like doing what they like to do. You'd be walking around the street, you might get, just stick the bird up at you when you're walking along because they just don't want you there.
Really, that heavy?
That's how remote it was. They really just wanted to be doing their thing and don't want other people sort of sticking their nose in. But that was interesting. Then I've done a lot of Northern Lights things. I've shot a lot of the bears, the grizzly bears and that's been pretty cool. There's one place called Pond Inlet. That's a floating lodge in Canada. That was unreal. So you sit there and the lodge is up in the Great Bear rainforest. It just floats and you stay on there, and then they take you off boats across to the land, and there's bears everywhere there, and then they drive you to where there's like a stand where you climb up a stand, and then you're up high, and then you sit there and you watch all the salmon coming up the river, and the bears just attacking the salmon. So that's a pretty good place to get some good photos.
Is that that's one of those areas where bears aren't really interested in eating you because they're so full from the...
Yeah, that's it.
They're so well fed.
I think so. Like that place, they were pretty serious with protecting us. I've seen other spots a bit further up and over in Alaska where you can basically walk up next to the bears. So once again, it's a matter of talking to the right person and what they say. So we were a little bit more worried of them where we were.
Trusting the right person.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trust about it. So am I good to walk up this person? Or this bear? So that's a floating lodge.
Yeah.
How big a lodge are you talking?
Probably about 20 rooms and a big...
And it's floating.
Yeah, because it's sort of anchored to the edge of the bay, so it's just built on.
So it can't float away.
Can't float away.
Well, what's it built on?
Big timber floats, I suppose. Yeah, I think I saw on TV the other day. There's a lot of houses, like a big houseboat, I suppose, but a lot bigger. And the water, because it's a inlet and a bay, it's pretty flat. So I don't think it moves around a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
they've probably got a few big piers.
How many stories high?
Only the one story high.
Oh, so it's flat.
Flat and wide.
So I hate to be 3 stories up when the weather kicks up. And
you get a bit seasick.
Yeah.
But yes, I did that one. And then last year I did Dubai, and that was pretty cool because that was with the tourism there, and they let my daughter come with me. So
cool, yeah.
Like, wouldn't have been totally the place I would normally pick, but it was opened my eyes. It was actually really, really spectacular. We did some sunrise balloon rides across the Sahara, or whatever the desert's called out there, and it was pretty special sharing that with my daughter.
See, that's one thing I can't do is hot air balloons.
Yeah,
I don't like the lack of control.
Yeah, have you never done one?
No, never will.
Never will.
No, you won't get me. I'd rather skydive than hot air balloon.
Yeah,
because you're just in a balloon.
Yeah, floating.
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't get it. I can't wrap my head around the physics of it that would allow me to come back.
Go back down.
Yeah.
This was pretty good. The start was pretty interesting though. You probably wouldn't have liked the start.
Yeah, see straight away you gave me a bad story.
Yeah, because they were trying to get it up and she was blowing. The wind had changed, and and then all of a sudden because there's about 6 balloons all getting ready to go up the same area, and there's a few buildings and structures around it, and they had it laid out for a certain wind. Just as they started, the wind flicked, so all of a sudden people are going towards other things, and there's a bit of chaos there for about 15 minutes, and then it's like shit, jumping, off we go. And then
that's probably out.
But once you're in the air, it's peaceful. It's
nice.
I
can imagine it'd be beautiful once you're up there, but
quiet. Once it's quiet until it hits that flame that scares the shit out if you're not ready, because right near you. But then it's just floating across that desert at sunrise. Like, that was epic. That would be one of those other animals with a horn on them as well. Can't remember what they call them out there.
Animal with a horn.
I think it's got a horn on its head, like a lynx or a unix or something.
I don't know.
It's a desert animal. So it's like a big goat, big goat thing. Yeah.
Onyx.
I think it's an onyx.
I don't know what that looks like, but I just know the name Onyx.
I'm pretty sure they got the horn. But so they're all cruising past all those sort of things. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's a big desert. Dubai's an unreal place, isn't it? Like, it's just, I went there, I was only there for a night, we did a stopover. And I saw a photo of it when it was like in 1995. And it was like pretty much just a desert with some buildings.
Yeah.
And you see a photo of like 2016, I think we were there, or 17. And it's like a metropolis. Like, it's just unbelievable. And the chick who we knew lived there, she said like it's being built so fast that her husband was an actual pilot in Dubai. And when he's away and her car broke down, she's like, I had no idea how to get it fixed because I rang a mechanic. And he said, where are you? And she's like, I'm on this off this motorway at this new shopping centre. He goes, I don't know where that shopping centre is. I've never seen it before. And like getting someone to come and try and find them, because it's just building so quick. The road maps don't keep up.
Yeah, wow.
And you just, it's just a nightmare of a place to live. And there's no, you can't really be self-sufficient. Like, it's just too fast.
Too big and too fast.
Too big and too fast. Like, you think like they're building so quickly, but the maintenance infrastructure to go with it doesn't keep up.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that all the specifics, but it's pretty crazy the way they've done it. It's just insane. Like, you'd be I went to a snow skiing place. I'm in the desert going to a snow skiing place, and then inside the snow skiing place, they've got these heated rooms. Yeah, and this is pretty awesome. You got a hot, then cold, then hot, and it's like
seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, wasting a lot of power here, but
because they make it rain there once a week too, don't they?
Oh, I think they seed it sometimes. They can try to seed it, and I think they're building another one now, bigger than their biggest one. I went up the top of that bird. I can't remember.
I know the one that Al Bajar.
Khalifa. Something.
Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, because Khalifa's the prince of the other area, but he paid for it, I think. Yeah. But anyway, I went at the top of that thing.
Has that got a helicopter pad on the top? Or am I thinking of a different place? I saw a documentary on that, and they had a helicopter pad.
I reckon they probably would have up there.
Because that's how like all the rich and famous people arrive.
Yeah, it was because that's so popular. People going up and down. It'd be interesting to see how even all that thing works because the tower just keeps going up and up and up and up and in and as it goes up. But just crazy. And they sit up there and you watch the fountain show. They've done like a Las Vegas style fountain show, but probably on steroids. So it's this huge show. It's just mind blowing. Yeah. And now they're building another 3 like bigger than that one. Yeah,
so it's like a pissing match, isn't it, between the oil barons? Yeah. They're going to go, your building's bigger than mine, then they're going to build another one and another one.
But I don't know where they get the people or the money to live in them. I don't know, but
they're probably half empty.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are. And I don't know, in one way I looked at it and thought they've done it pretty good as far as, they're in this desert, they got nothing. Yeah. And they've managed to make this. Look at Australia, we've got some of the most epic isolated locations. Imagine some of if you put a little couple of resorts in some of the locations that we've got, you could do so much better than what they've got. They've just got purely a bit of sand, and
they need to find oil.
Yeah.
Once they strike oil, you watch Las Vegas come in the desert there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we've got so much area. Like, aren't we the size of the states? But
I think pretty close.
A very small portion of the country is actually inhabited.
Yeah, that's it.
But then where do you?
But even the spots that are habitable, I still got no one on. No one there, which is we've got a lot to still do. I think
you'd meet some resistance.
Yeah, I think
if
so.
you tried to
build one of those there. Yeah,
it's all good in theory.
Yeah,
but even if it was somewhere you could just fly in.
Yeah,
you could only get in. You could drive there, but you fly in.
It was definitely a pretty crazy place. I actually got to go and shoot some wave photos right in front of the other one. What's that 7-star building they had in Dubai? That's another one. Some sort of same sort of name. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. So I had waves there, but they wouldn't let me swim in there because at the start they wouldn't, because they needed lifeguards there to watch everybody, because that's so used to people just going and drown. It's only like 3 foot nice little wave, but eventually they let me go in, and got these barrel photos with this big 7-star high rise behind it, which is
awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Is it a wave pool?
Nah, this is actual
proper surf, proper swell comes.
Yeah, and they just on the other side of it, they do have a small surfing beach. I think they've got a small surfing club over there too.
Really?
I don't think they get swell a lot, but when the right conditions happen.
And you got it?
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Yeah.
What's the go with your, because you spend a lot of time in the water. I won't ask you about sharks again. Do you do any training for it?
Not at the moment. I need to get fitter again. At the moment, I've been driving around Australia too much, sort of taking it easy.
Eating snack food on the trip.
Yeah. I just swim as much as I can. That's about all. I don't go out chasing huge swell swimming anymore. Yeah. Don't need to, as far as the photos I do. I look for more, like this morning was like 2 foot, 2 foot, and just pure glassy there, and there was nice little shaped waves. So I'm more chasing nice conditions as opposed to huge surf.
You don't have to be, you're going swimming out 50 metres, aren't you, really, to get that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I did go out to Australia the other day. I've probably been 6 foot, pretty heavy shore break, and that was fun, but I don't chase that sort of stuff as much. Yeah. But then again, if Kira starts breaking well again and I'm fit enough, I'll go out there and shoot that as well, because that's something I love to shoot as well. Yeah.
So what do you got planned for this? I know you're going around Australia again. Have you got any overseas trips?
I actually go to Las Vegas next week, which will be interesting.
Oh, okay, so you got one,
so I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. It's
is that for work or pleasure?
It's for work. BFG, which is BF Goodrich, which is a tyre company. See, I'm not a big car person either. Like, I've loved the truck that I've got because it does what I need it to do. It gets me where I want to go. But I've been photographing that truck all over Australia, and it's got the tyres on it. So those guys have been really happy about that. So they want to send me over to it's a desert race called the Mint 400, I think it is. I should know all this by now.
Jason probably know it. He's the
Mint 400.
Mint 400. There you go.
He's the motorsport king.
There you go. So I'm going over to be money buy can't buy experience with BFG. So we're staying at the Golden Nugget, which I think is like one of the classic old Las Vegas hotels, one of the first sort of ones in that area. So I'm staying there, and then with the Australian team photographing them, doing some crazy desert driving in their trophy trucks, I think they call them. And so it'll be interesting, because I don't know a lot of that world. I was talking to someone the other day. He's actually Josh Kerr, one of the pro surfers, and he's like, the Mint 400, mate, that's awesome. I was there last year. I was actually one of the co-drivers, and he knew everything about it. I'm like, okay. So I'm going into it a bit sort of not really knowing, but I think it'll be fun in the end. So that's on my own, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. Then after that, I'll be back home, and I'm starting the road trips. Hopefully, my truck's ready, which I can't wait for. And once that's done, just follow my nose and try to join some jobs together and make sure I've got the family with me on certain spots. And
Is it like a paper scissors rock thing with the kids when they find out you're going overseas? They like sort of start doing the dishes
If they
a
can
little
come,
bit more.
yeah,
And they're like,
yeah.
oh, Dad, you know, like I am up to date with my homework.
Yeah, pretty much. I try to give different. If they can come, they can't always come. The Dubai trip was okay, so they wanted 2 people to go, so they sent my daughter with me.
Yep.
Other trips, I might just bring one of the boys with me.
Yep.
More so around Australia more than overseas.
Yep.
They loved going to Lady Elliot Island, which is we can just fly straight out of Cooley for that.
Yep.
That's epic. That's right in the southern Great Barrier Reef, so they both like to come there with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, as much as I can bring them, the more I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the wife's got a fair trip too.
That's it. Yeah, or she comes. We do it at the Maldives every year.
You must be struggling to please everybody in your family.
That's it. I know it's going away. But I go
Yeah.
to the Maldives. I think this year with our 10th year.
Yep.
We do a surfing competition there called the Champions Trophy.
Yep.
And that's all. It used to be all ex-world champions. So that started off with Mark Occhilupo. But yeah, all of them have basically been there. So there'll be a 10th year this year. My wife comes on that one and stay in 4 seasons, which is pretty crazy good hotel and shoot the surfing.
And let me know if there's any trips that you need, like podcasters, because we can do it mobile, can't we? Like
mobile podcaster.
Yeah, mobile podcast. If you want to do one on site, let me know.
That's
We're happy to go.
That's the podcasting that I was listening to is the Jim Jeffries show, I think. Yeah, he did a few mobile ones when he's driving.
Well, see, I can do it.
That's
so
it.
you keep me keep me in the front of your mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll come to you for travel advice because it sounds like you've had a pretty awesome life.
Yeah, sort of doing the best I can anyway. Yeah.
I love hearing it when someone has like a passion for something and you're able to make it not only a living but something you continue to do and then get to see the world. And I mean, I guess that's everybody's dream, isn't it, to be able to, and you seem like you've actually brought it into reality, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's sort of, I get people quite often will say that to me, sort of, I don't know how to take it sometimes, but it's something I love doing, and I'm just lucky that the way it's turned out that way. Or maybe not so much lucky, I've tried hard, I've worked hard.
I don't believe in luck. It's
people do say that, you're really lucky, and like, I am, but I also love and live this. So I
think sometimes, sorry to interrupt you, but like, you did it, you were an electrician or a linesman, first. So it wasn't like this, you just sort of slowly developed it and you lived at mum and dad's house and then, eventually, worked it into a job. You actually grind and then made it into something that's a reality. So that's a big thing for me, looking like as more inspirational side of things, because you made it happen. You didn't just watch it, you didn't wait for it to happen, you made it happen. You went out there, did the Burleigh markets, and now you got a gallery in the middle of St James Street there, right, isn't it? So it's in the main street of Burleigh. It's you've made it.
That's it.
That's what it is,
That's what I try to say to my sons. Like, you got to make your opportunities. They're not going to come to you. It doesn't matter what you're doing, sport, anything. You're going to sit there and think it's just going to come to you. No, you've got to go out there and make it happen. And that's continually happening. Even now that things are going well, I've always got to keep grinding, keep looking at new opportunities, make sure I keep on top of my game. But when you love it and you're doing it for the right reasons, I think it all works. I get a lot of young guys who ask me for how can I grow my Instagram account, how can I get famous, how can I get all these things. I'm like, well, if that's what you want, it's not going to happen. If you're coming to me because you love photography and you want to know about where should I go, should I do this, and I just want to take photos, and that other part's secondary, well, you got a bit of a chance. If you pursue your passion and work hard, the rest sort of follows it.
You can almost identify that in an Instagram page too, when someone wants the followers, like the like and share.
That's it.
It's like, no, this is growing because I'm,
you get it all the time. And but there's also a lot of really young talented guys out there now as well, so it's definitely lots of opportunities.
It's an industry you pretty much don't need much to get involved in initially. Like, you can start, and anyone can start an Instagram page and just start it with your phone. You got it all there in one small little tablet. 100%.
That's the one thing I sort of looked at, and even with my son selling pictures, it's like, wow, he's 11 years old and he's just selling photos with his little camera. So everyone can get in and have a crack at it, and I think it's just a matter of working hard and staying true, and the rest will follow if you're passionate enough and you really keep trying.
Exactly. I might have to go and get one of your son's photos. It might be a collector's item. I might get one of the
One
originals,
day,
because 20 years time it might be one of those. It might be a Picasso.
Never know.
Awesome. No, mate, I appreciate you coming in. It's been awesome chatting, and I think you've shed a lot of light on just the getting grinding. That's one thing I believe in, is grinding till it works for you, and that's what you've done. So, man, I love it.
No worries. Thanks, Johnny.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me in.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome boy.